Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Cole, as always. Welcome to Retail Corner. I am here joined by Chris Todd. He is the CEO of Theatro, and Theatro does some pretty cool stuff within the retail world. Chris, welcome to the Retail Corner, my good man.
That's cool. Great to be here. Glad to join.
Good here. So, for those of you that don't know, Chris, can you kind of walk us through your CV a little bit? Walk us through what you do at Theatro?
Sure. No, exactly. My background is I entered the industry in the voice and data networking side. So I came up from technologist in the technology side. But with Theatro, we are a software company in the retail industry. We focus primarily on retail. Um,
Okay.
and so having a technology background, but not a retail background, when we founded this company, it was very important that we go out and build a team of folks that actually have worked at retailers and run stores and run operations and so forth. And so that's what a core group of our executive team all come from that background. Or
Absolutely, retail's its own monster. Retail's its own universe. Yeah.
I will tell you, I didn't know anything about it other than being a consumer and a good shopper when we first started, but that was 12 years ago. So now I've got quite a bit of background on what it's all about.
Excellent, excellent. So, yeah. So tell me about Theatro. What are you guys? What is the offering that you guys are? Because I've looked into it a little bit, and I want to make sure that. Yeah, I'm just excited
Well,
about it. Go for it.
no. It's not surprising because considering we sometimes it's difficult for people to believe in something they've never imagined. But we've done something completely transformative, completely new that nobody else has done. And we did it for the purpose of the frontline workers in retail, where the best way to
Some of
think
my
about
favorite
it,
people.
yeah, exactly. They are the bread and butter of that industry. Imagine, if I could, imagine taking Siri or Alexa, Siri out of your iPhone, or a voice virtual assistant, embedding it in your car key fob. So a very tiny little IoT device, putting an earbud in your ear, and having a virtual assistant who helps you do your job, get you whatever information you need in your role as a frontline team member, in whatever you need to do. But at the same time, I am not required to have anything in my hands
Right.
or distract me through my eyes, because customers want, when you're especially in the service industry, they want good eye to eye contact. Focus on me, be with me. I don't want to see you taking out one of these, staring at the device and ignoring me and so forth. And so Theatro has invented a way to do that by using software, voice, and a virtual assistant in your ear, the ability to give you information, give that employee information while staying engaged with the customer. And that's a really unique way to
Right.
build a mobile platform that nobody else has done.
That's really like some next level stuff where you're engaging with the customer, and you don't have to stop and go, okay, hold on, let me check something deep, and then scroll through this and try and find it on your website or whatever it may be, and
That's
and,
right.
and break that
Yeah,
interaction. It's
well, because most customers, if they see a frontline team member standing there with a device in their hand in the aisle, and they're looking at it, most of the time they're thinking, I think is, what are they doing, and why aren't they helping me? They perfectly well
yeah,
may be
exactly.
looking up work, but the reality is, whenever I take my eyes away from whatever I need to do, a couple things: service goes down, theft goes up, right? As you can imagine, I start looking at devices. I start
Right,
looking.
exactly.
Everybody notices, well, the employees aren't paying attention. I'm going to put stuff in my pocket. And so it keeps the employee engaged. It keeps them focused on the service side of business and so forth. As we say, the employee is able to be heads up and hands free, right? I mean, heads
Okay,
up,
nice little tagline there. Yeah,
yeah,
that's good
heads up
stuff.
and hands free. Exactly.
And
So
so what kind of inspired, because this is AI wearable. It's turning every frontline worker. It's turning your shop person into an expert on
yeah.
on their shop. And so what inspired this idea? Like,
Well,
we're gonna.
originally we came up with the concept of that uh, we had set out a very, very high goal as a company, which was what would it take to enable every frontline employee to answer any question a customer has, even on their first day.
That's pretty tall ask. You
That's a
know,
pretty,
like
on the first day, an employee doesn't know anything. I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know who I work with. I don't know who my teammates are. I barely know where I'm supposed to be, and so forth.
Well, that's one of the oldest retail tricks in the book is when you're talking with somebody and going, "Oh, I've only been here for a week. I'm sorry,"
Yeah,
even though you've got a 10-year patch on your vest or
yeah,
whatever.
exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean, they do that all the time. Or it's let me see if I can find somebody to help you,
Exactly. Let me pass
because I'm
that
not
buck.
in that
Yeah.
department. But then they don't really know who they work with, and they don't know what you know. If I was brand new and you were my teammate, I don't know what you know. I don't know what I'm supposed to
Sure.
ask you versus ask somebody else. So if you can imagine, in the beginning, it was about what if I connected every employee to every other employee and put some logic in the middle that allows employees to ask, all right, if there is an apparel expert or there's a plumbing expert, connect me to that person, right? And so, because
Mm.
a really quick way to answer a customer's question is actually get you to somebody who knows the answer. About the worst thing you can do is pull out a device and say, well, let me go see if I can look it up, because the
Yeah.
customer at that point is going, well, shoot, if you're going to look it up, why don't I just look it
Yeah,
up? What do
why
I need
not?
to
Yeah.
do? And in the beginning, retailers used to have unique information on their handhelds that customers didn't have, but now it's all the same.
Now it's the opposite.
Yeah,
Now the customers have
right?
more information sometimes.
Yeah, no, I can do that. So that was the original thought, was connect somebody to who knows the answer, right? As quickly as possible. And so we do that today, really rapidly connect anybody to anybody. But then as time changed in the last year or so, leveraging generative AI, it's like, all right, what if we made the virtual assistant who's helping connect everybody together and helping the orchestration of workflows and helping people be in the right place? What if that actually we connected that virtual assistant to generative AI knowledge base where they could answer the question directly to
Yeah.
the employees and so forth?
So
And
that's
so,
so that right there is kind of the secret sauce. That because every retailer they've already got a walkie on, hopefully,
yeah,
and they can kind of jump between team members and everything else like that. But you're adding that secret sauce. That's the extra step in there, right?
yeah, well, because I mean, even just leveraging from a walkie-talkie, which broadcasts everything to everybody. There's no just, I mean, that's
Sure.
it's not a very high value add. We go a lot higher than that because we enable
Right.
one-on-one conversation, one to many, and so forth.
Okay.
Um, but it really is helpful when you are going to now add intelligence to the conversation, because it may not be just, I mean, you could do as simply as answer a product question, but you also might answer a process question. I don't know how
Okay.
to do curbside. So, hey, you need to do this curbside. And the virtual assistant can ask you, hey, Cole, are you familiar with how to do that? Let me tell you step by step what you're supposed to do. Uh,
Nice. And so it's
Reinforcing the
reinforcement
training,
training and
reinforcing
oh
the learning. Because what we found is it's a big risk for any organization is if somebody is asked to do something and they don't know how to do it, they're either going to make it up, they're going to ask a peer, like, what am I supposed to do? And that person's probably just going to shortcut the answer. Oh, here's
well,
the everything to
it's
do.
all tribal knowledge right there.
Yes, it's
It's
all
passed
private.
down from generation to generation. Yeah.
Yes. And so if you move away from tribal knowledge and move to, because if it's really important, say it's a recall, I have to product recall. You don't want to take short steps, right? You want to
Yeah,
actually go
right.
through every single step to reduce risk. And so generative AI and an intelligent assistant has the ability to do a lot more than just let me answer questions. They can do recommendations. They can do all kinds of process change and so forth. So the world's universe has dramatically changed in the last year. Of, hey, I now can actually help employees even on their first day know what they're supposed to do, help customers answer questions and execute operations and processes. Whereas if they just have a dumb radio, there's no intelligence there. There's no, I mean, and also keep in mind today, only about 30% of retail employees actually have a mobile device to
Sure.
use while at work. Now, 100% of them have one of these in their personal life, 100%. But
Sure.
only the saturation has only gotten to about 30% of total employees. And so most of them don't have anything. Most of them have an apron, a name badge, and maybe a
And hope.
walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and so
Yeah.
that's not much to work with.
This is awesome theory. It's awesome, like sitting around sitting around the campfire or bar or whatever, and kind of talking like, hey, it'd be great if we could do this. But you guys have actually boots on the ground applied this. Like, what's the best case scenario when we're looking at this kind of stuff? Like,
Well, the key
when it comes
thing,
to actual application.
so a key thing that we require with our customers is we do everybody. And so if you're going to do digital transformation,
Okay.
everybody has to be connected. Not 30%, not 50%,
Okay.
not 70%, right? It's everybody. And so in a Theatro world, everybody, we democratize mobile devices and mobile connectivity. Everybody or nobody. I mean, who do you, if
Fair enough.
the
Okay.
reality, and then this is not, I mean, today, most organizations, most people are not connected, right? If you go to work at Walmart employees don't have email, they don't have voicemail, they don't have in most, I mean, I don't, not to pick on Walmart, I'm just saying anybody, retail,
Sure.
hourly workers tend not to have email and voicemail. They have no way to communicate with leadership or receive information other than the bulletin board that's been in the break
Yeah.
room forever.
Or then the trickle down waterfall. Yeah.
Exactly. So by connecting everybody, that's, if you're going to do digital transformation, everybody has to be connected 100% of the time, right? For instance, you're always reachable. I would guess you have one.
Unfortunately, yes.
You're always reachable. So therefore, if you can imagine, if I could reach every employee whenever I need to, all the time, everybody's reachable, everybody's accountable. If I don't have a device, I'm not connected to any network. You know where I'm assigned to be, but you may not know where I actually am. Where do I spend my time? I don't generate any data. A human body that doesn't connect it to an IP network doesn't generate any data. So there's no way to measure my performance. You can observe my performance. You can see somewhat the outcome of my performance, but you really don't have personal impact performance data because I don't have any device on me. I'm not connected to a network.
Well, yeah,
And,
I mean,
it sounds simple, but it's like,
yeah.
how come everybody doesn't do this? Well, it's just, these things are really expensive. 30% of them walk out the door every year from being stolen and
left or broken or whatever. Yeah.
And they make do without. And so what we've done is we created a scenario where the cost is not in the device, right? This is our little mobile computer. It's not in this. It's actually in the software, and this is free. Here, have it.
Okay.
Free is compelling, right? I'm going to give you the device for free, but we're going to use all the applications and workflows and do that, magic in your ear. And so move it away from the form factor of a device into software world, a software defined world, much more impactful.
Absolutely. Where it's also, there's no stress about losing the device or getting it taken out of your paycheck or something terrible like that. And
yeah, now we changed that whole paradigm a little bit by including the hardware as a part of our service, right? So customers don't have to buy the devices; they don't manage them. If they lose them, I'll send them another one. If they break it, I'll send them another one for free. I don't send them a bill, right? The most important thing is everybody's always connected at every day. If you go for my shift, I should be able to hear the CEO's message. I should be able to hear the update from HR. I should be able to hear the leadership, or a shift handoff from the person who worked last night. I should be able to get that information. But if I'm not connected, I can't. I don't have any way to do it, and that makes life hard. So
It
Our
also
whole
it also kind of adds a little variety to life. I mean, just my opinion, but like, because if you're a manager, you got your roundup in the morning, and they read out the email, they read out the whatever in the morning. It is rote. It is done every morning, and then you're coming in. There's a different voice in your ear. There's a different
yeah.
kind of a different, not same message, but a different connection within the company, kind of thing. So that's
Well,
kind of cool.
different leaders lead differently, right? And we see
Yeah,
this. I mean, today,
hope so. Yeah,
if you send out a just a generic message, written email or put it in everybody's mailbox, it's got no emotion to it. It's got no context to it. Whereas today we allow as leaders to lead and let their culture come to life because people hear it, people
yeah.
experience it, and so forth. And just recently with one of our customers, Home Depot Canada, I was listening to a district manager using our platform to thank and recognize and just motivate a group of stores, and it was impactful. It was really impactful
That's
just to
really cool.
listen to them how they're leading, because that really matters to frontline employees. Is do their leadership recognize what they do? Is it genuine? Is it authentic? Is it personal? As you said, if you have the morning rally and they have the morning rally in the morning, but I work in the afternoon, I've never met the general manager. I don't know who they
Sure.
are. Right? They don't matter. I don't matter to them,
Yeah.
and they don't matter to me. Well, you got to change that, right? You got to change it where the leadership does matter.
So we know Theatro is going to change the world and everything else like that. Sure. But what else are you seeing in the innovation space? I know that you guys are moving around. I know that you are an innovator within yourself. What are you seeing that's going to change retail, and how do you think that's going to affect us maybe 10 years now? 10 years seems like so long, considering the amount of change we've gone through in the last 5 years. 10
Uh,
looking
yeah.
10 years ahead, we'll all
Uh,
have jetpacks, I'm sure, at that
yeah.
point. You know,
Well,
but what are you seeing? What are you seeing on the horizon there?
put it. I that would be my crystal ball. Cole is probably not that clear, out that far. Just because when I look back when we first started, um, I remember when we first built our little mobile device. There was no such thing 10 years ago as the term IoT. There was no wearable technology. Wearable as a term did not exist,
Yeah.
right? No Fitbit, there was no smartwatch, there was none of that, right? And it was like the iPhone had come out, smartphones was all the rage, and now here in just that brief time period, it's
If you wanted a wearable technology, it was a wrinkle-free shirt. That's what it was. Yeah, So I get that. I get that. So what else are you seeing in the universe? That's
I think the augmentation of really helping employees know contextually what they're supposed to do in the moment is the most important thing. I also think where we're getting to is the ability to measure everybody's individual performance and contributions so that you can really distinguish those people that are making the most impact and those people who aren't, right, who are just going along for the ride. And a lot of the innovation things that we've done, and certainly a lot of the concepts that we patented around is around analytics and around the ability to leverage data to motivate people to do a great job. So for instance, if you think about this, if on a particular day, if the store had all of their best performers working on the same shift, you would expect the revenue to increase because they're really engaged, their customer service goes up, they're helping customers and so on. At the same time, if you had your worst performers on that shift, similar day, you would expect the performance of the store to be less, right? Less engaged. Makes sense. Everybody understands that. Well, if you had the ability
getting
to,
your A team there is a tough
yeah,
call though. Yeah.
well, so who's your A team? If you really can't measure their data, you have no data, you really can't measure their performance. It's all observation or anecdotal or gut. I think these people are my best.
Sure.
Whereas if you had the ability to actually measure them, and then you look at it and say, well, how do I build my schedule? Am I building my schedule to make sure I have the best people there at the most important times? Or am I
Right.
building my schedule based on who's got the most tenure or who's got the most this? How is that? Well, if you ultimately built scheduling based on performance and you knew what I knew what our numbers were next Tuesday, I actually might be able to make sure I put the right team on the schedule on that day to hit the numbers. Or
Hmm.
inversely, if I look at the team that I've scheduled next week, I'm going to miss my number because I don't have the right horsepower there on an important day. And so where we're going as a company is the ability to actually measure and recognize the performance of each person and their contributions to the business, so that you can maximize the impact of a team. Because
Right.
if you think about it, a store is a team. It's not
Yeah.
individuals, right? It's a two
Yeah.
sport. It's all about coordinated activity and working together. And that's where communications is really important. Collaboration is important, sharing of information, helping one another, recognizing each other, and so forth. You know,
So, so
that's a different experience than where we are today in a lot of retail locations.
that's kind of a cool idea. Yeah, like I said before, we were talking a little bit before. I'm a logistics, loss prevention, risk management kind of guy. Um, and, and so, is there like a give and take with Theatro where it's, oh my gosh, shoplifting incident just happened. I need to I need to respond to that, or that it can give instructions on a very specific task
Yes,
like that.
absolutely. Well, I mean, even let me put it this way: this area, and it's very, very, kind of germane to the situation, which is employee safety, right?
Sure.
Sometimes we think of
We
safety,
we 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 just had a slip and fall. What do I
right?
do?
Right,
Kind of thing.
or not even customer safety, employee safety.
Sure.
I'm working in a part of the store by myself, and there's somebody there. It's either could be a customer or it could be another employee that's feel it making me feel unsafe. If I feel
Sure.
unsafe, I'm not going to want to come back for my next shift. I'm not going to want to come back. I'm number one driver for turnover is employee safety. They don't feel comfortable. Well, if I actually could use my virtual assistant to alert manager, hey, I'm here in this aisle, and very discreetly, I don't feel safe. If somebody else just walked over to my area, all of a
Sure.
sudden, the power of numbers, right? All of a sudden, I feel more safe, right? So simplest apps, simplest things actually make the biggest difference. So it's not quite a panic button. I could do a panic button. We do that, right? I press the panic button and the fire alarms
Sure.
go off and everything. But what you find is actually people feel unsafe because the context of the environment, what's happening around them at that moment. And so if you're part of the team, hey, I need somebody to come over here and just walk down my aisle because we don't have as many people as we used to have, right? So
Yeah.
that person,
Exactly. No one has as many people as they
that's
just.
exactly right. So when you think about it, they don't have as many people. Now, I also need the ability when I do see something happen, right? When I do see something happen, how do I coordinate with my team members to respond appropriately? And I'll give you a place that AI comes into play. Um, a lot of times, people who've been working at a company a long time, and no matter how much training they've gone through, if they see somebody steal, they want to intervene and stop it. They want to stop it because they're proud. This is my store, my revenue. I'm
Yeah.
working.
How dare you? Yeah.
How dare you? Well, but we also know that, hey, if they intercede and if they get hurt, and maybe, I think the number of incidents on an altercation in a situation like that, 3% of the time it escalates into bodily harm. Well, that'll cost like hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so one of the scenario might be that an employee sees something happen, they alert management, but then the virtual assistant reminds them, here's what you need to do. Please disengage. Please stay safe. You're reminding them how to behave so that they park the emotion of, I'm going to jump this person and keep them from running out the door.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to run behind this car, try to figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah, but you could save a lot on the potential risk and exposure by reminding them what are the right things they need to do at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can also turn it around, and if somebody alerts something, have the virtual assistant ask them, "Tell me what you see. Tell me what you saw." Oh, I saw a
Oh,
lady with
really?
a pink purse put something in her purse. You're interviewing them right then and there, capturing as a WAV file, send it to the loss prevention team. So they don't have to go back and find her. It's timestamp. I know exactly when it happened. I know what happened. And at the same time, the alert sent in, it confirms what the camera saw. I saw all this, right? So there's so many workflows. There's so many ways you can just keep building on top of, the unique aspect that everybody's connected,
Yeah.
everybody's available, and it's all just software. It's not; these aren't point products; they're apps. Because we build mobile apps. I probably didn't clarify
Yeah.
that earlier, but we sell
Yeah.
each one of these as an individual mobile app. Buy the ones that you. What's the problem you want to solve? I want to solve safety. I want to solve upsell. I want to solve recommendations, or I want to solve recognition. Either way, we're a mobile
Yeah.
platform, and you can do whichever direction you want to go. We innovate in a lot of different areas.
How long has Theatro been around? Like, is it,
We started
you know,
we incorporated in 2012. So this is would be in our, we commercially, we've only been out in the market for about 8 years, but we had to do a lot of work in the background to get things to where we are in stealth mode,
yeah.
if you will. But yeah,
Sure.
and today we're
So,
in about, 15,000 stores, and a half million users use us every day, in a variety of different stores. So if you go out to, a large deployment like a Walgreens, or you mentioned Macy's, every Macy's store, you'll see every employee will have one of our little Theatro IoT devices on, and a headset in their ear, and that's actually us. It's not an old radio.
nice. Nice. Okay. Yeah. And so given that you guys are innovators within the game and everything else like that, if you were coming out of college, or if you were interested in retail, or maybe you were shift manager or something like that, and you look down at your little IoT and you said, you know what, I don't want to work for XYZ company anymore. I want to work for the dude who makes these, or the guys who make these.
Yeah.
How do you think that bridge is? Where would you take your career path
I would
if you wanted to be an
evaluate.
innovator within retail?
Right. Well, I would evaluate, the opportunities based on how much the retailer or company is able to invest in their employees. How much can they invest, right? Or how much do they invest? The reality is not a lot of. I mean, if the technology that gets deployed today, a lot of it, the purpose is to benefit the retailer. We look at it the other way around. We're doing it to innovate, to benefit the employees, because the employees happy, they will do better and perform better, and the store will do better. So it's kind of the inverse model. I mean, in the first many years, our tagline actually was innovation for the forgotten hourly worker, because
Nice.
most people don't.
Oh,
They
that gives
go,
me shivers.
they go places for management, right? If you
Yeah.
remember when COVID happened, everybody and nobody could go to work. Everybody was trying to embrace. Oh, we love our frontline employees. We love our frontline. Blah 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 blah. I'm not sure that
Right.
that's. Do you walk the talk? That would be the question I would ask. Do you walk the talk? Can you prove it? Show me, what are you investing in technology wise that benefits the employee, not the employer, the employee? Because most technology that's deployed is actually a point solution that benefits management to be able to measure the performance
Sure.
of the employee, not for the employee to make them feel better, to make them perform better, and to be able to
It's
recognize, right?
it's always the case that bad news rolls downhill and good news rolls uphill, kind of
Yeah,
thing. So, yeah,
it's
you want to make sure that you're trying to balance that
yeah,
scale.
not always
So,
that. Exactly.
I've got one last question for you. We're running up against our time limit here, and so in your kind of new experience with retail, yeah, I mean, a decade's not a necessarily new experience with retail, but coming to retail, what what piece of advice would you give somebody that's new to retail? What's something you wish you knew day one that you know now?
Well, I would realize that a couple things. One, Amazon is not going to eat the world. Brick and mortar
Okay.
is not going anywhere. Humans want to buy from humans. They want to interact with humans. Anything that's moved to the digital world has moved to the digital world, but those are things that are not necessarily experiential, that requires another human to explain things. And so I think retail is fascinating. I think it's here to stay for a long time. I think the winners in retail are the ones that are going to leverage that, the best asset they have, which is the people, and try to make those people, the team members they have, as high performers as possible, and recognize them. And it's a great place to. I think it's a great place to work. It's not an easy place, for sure.
I think everybody should work a little retail in their lives.
Yeah. What can be humbling, right? Because and it's frustrating from a customer standpoint. I know, and probably everybody realizes, you go into a store and you ask somebody a question, you really want them to have the answer, right? And the person you're asking could be a grad student in an MBA program, smart as it could be a scientist, but they're working part-time. But they're not enabled.
Sure.
They don't have anything, and they go, "I'd love to help you, but come with me, and we'll go find somebody."
Right.
That's frustrating.
Right.
So in retail, you got to recognize if they put it's hard to have a smiling face when somebody is disappointed, because you can't help them, right? And so those retailers that actually understand that embrace the idea that I'm going to make the customers matter, the employees matter. It's a great place to spend your life.
Not bad advice. Not bad advice. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's the our podcast today from the Retail Corner. I'll have all of Chris's and Theatro's information right below if you're interested in anything like that. And Chris, I can't thank you enough for joining us, man.
Thanks, Cole. I really agree. Great time.
All right. See you guys next time.
Bye.
If you would like to be featured on our podcast, please email us at podcast@retailcorner.live or visit our website, retailcorner.live. Looking forward to having you as our guest on our podcast, and thank you so much for listening.